Good morning. We talked about the first part of verse 6 in our previous thought for the day. I want to pick up right there. Then Jesus is fully God. He has the eternal nature of God, right? So the Logos, the eternal God the Son, comes and will be joined with another nature. The eternal Son was fully God. So who being in very nature God, and to say he is in nature God means that he is in all manner like God. Another way of saying that is just defining nature. A nature is a substance that has particular properties or attributes. Those properties or attributes in this case are the properties or attributes of divinity. And so he has all those properties or attributes. And he comes and will take on this other nature that verse 7 will get to. But I want to highlight the last part of verse 6 that's tucked here in the middle. A nature, verse 7 we'll talk about a nature, but there's something that's said about him in this condescension as God, the eternal Logos, comes, who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. That's the New International Version. Here's the English Standard Version. Who, though he was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped. Now, I mentioned to you in previous thought for the day that idea of thing to be grasped is something to be seized or laid hold of. Here, you get this idea of taken advantage of. Now, some scholars have a very interesting thought about this, and I wanted to highlight that this morning. What does it mean when it says he did not consider equality to God something to be grasped, or here in the New International Version, to be used to his own advantage? Well, first of all, in one sense, he didn't need to grope for it or seize it because he was God and he never relinquished that. But I think what the author is getting at is he's actually highlighting here in this context the humility of Christ. That is, that he never... You think of like the Transfiguration. He just opened a window for a brief time into the glory. He was careful not to simply come and by divine fiat put people in their place. He didn't just come and slay people who opposed him. He could have done all those things, but instead he functioned in humility. He was so humble. Paul will say in a little bit that he became obedient to death, even death on a cross. Have you ever noticed in Scripture that there are a couple of places in Romans 5 and then in 1 Corinthians 15 where Jesus is likened to a second Adam? A second Adam. What scholars notice is, what did that first Adam, when he sinned, what was it that he wanted, right? What was it after? Well, the tempter came to him in the garden, right, in the form of the snake, and said that he could be like God, knowing good and evil. And it seems that there might be something here that's sort of sitting in the background, and that is that Jesus, instead of claiming and sort of asserting with strength his godness that was true, and he could have, he concealed that. He held that. He cradled that in flesh. And in that way, this second Adam is the antithesis of the first. The first wanted, give me deity, give me divinity. Instead, Jesus goes the other direction. And he says, give me humanity, so that he could take on something for us. The first Adam, looking to be great, prideful, sins. The second Adam condescends in humility, and therefore ends up bringing about our salvation. I think that's incredible. What an amazing thought of condescension. He does the exact opposite of what we humans sometimes are predisposed to do. May the Lord help us follow him in humility, and may he bless you today.